Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to The Magic Happens with myself, Kathy Goggin, mom, grandmother, entrepreneur, and Means Davis. Means, would you like to introduce yourself? I'll just say Means has radically changed my life with empowered enterprises and empowering people around the world to be all that they could be. Would you like to add to that?
I don't think there's anything to add. that pretty much sums up my commitment, right? You know,
Yes.
for the past 30 years or so, I have been working with individuals and organizations to help them bring their vision into reality. So that no matter what your vision is, there are always actions you can take, results you can produce to bring that vision into reality. So my whole life is about let's have fun producing extraordinary results.
That
And that's
sums it up. Let's have fun creating extraordinary results. Yes.
Yeah, and if you're not having fun, you're probably not producing extraordinary results. That's the big deal,
Exactly.
right?
And
And so most of us,
sometimes, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, most of us decide to struggle to produce hard results instead of having fun to produce extraordinary results.
Yes.
It just
I think because we get caught up in, we start having families, we start having a lot of responsibilities, and life starts weighing us down. And we do sometimes forget to have that fun and know that we're creating our life.
Yes, and that the weight of that you're talking about, right, of those responsibilities and family, what we've done is we've shifted from relating to those circumstances as the joy of our life
Yes.
instead of it being the weight of the world.
Yes.
The weight of the world, I help my mother, a lot. And she's over 80 years old. And so we've got a big house there, and we've got my house here. And so every once in a while I get tied up into, oh, I have so much to do. Oh, it's a weight of the world to make sure that everything is working in this house and in this house and everywhere else and in the business and making my clients happy. And I mean, I just got so much work to do.
Can
When
anyone relate?
every single bit of that is the joy of my life.
Yes.
It's the joy of my life to make things work, to be able to have, all of these things working together and producing the results that they do produce, and then still have that vision of what else I want. What else do we want to have? What would make it even better? But to be engaged in the joy of life rather than engaged in the suffering and the struggle and oh my gosh, this is so hard.
Right.
We're the ones that say it's suffering. We're the ones that say it's a joy. And if we say it's a joy, it becomes a joy. It may not do it that first time. That first time when you say it, you're like, yeah, right. Okay. The second time you say it, you've got the little big loud voices in your head that says, yeah, right. Then you've got the 100th time you say it, you've got the 100 voices that say, yeah, right. And you're like, no, it is the joy of my life. This is joy. This is the fun. This is what I've created. And if it's not, let's create something else.
Right. And sometimes I have found that I have to untangle the thoughts that are creating those heavy feelings. And some of the things I'm recently reading, I don't know if anyone out there is familiar with Michael Singer. He wrote a couple of really great books. He wrote The Untethered Soul. His new book is Living the Untethered Soul. And if you ever feel like you're caught up in those thoughts, Means you have helped me tremendously, but in between Means I'll read and I'll listen to different things. And his book really talks about our thoughts and how to help untangle those, that we either resist or cling to things. He great examples of, the thoughts that we've created from childhood seeing a rope and thinking it's a snake and creating fear within ourselves and being afraid. And every time we see a rope, we could have fear when there's no fear that needs to happen. So it's untangling what's creating the heaviness in us, like Means talked about, or we're so busy. I used to always say, I feel like the weight of the world on my shoulders. Like, of course, I was creating more of that until I changed the thoughts, recognized them, let them come up, not run away from them, because I've done that before, but just let them come up and let them go and say, there's no truth in this.
Yeah,
This was
and
an
choose
old
another thought.
story. Like you share a
Yeah,
story.
choose another thought.
Choose
We,
another
we,
thought.
we have so many thoughts. I mean, why on earth are we putting all of our attention, all of our energy into honoring a thought that disempowers us, that
Yes.
stops us, that's like kills our life? I say that fear is just a thought about a future you don't want.
Yes.
It's not real. It's just a thought. We're interpreting that rope as a snake and living in fear because we're afraid of getting bitten. It's a
Yes.
thought about a future we don't want. It has nothing to do with the snake. It has nothing to do with the rope. It has nothing to do with the object itself. It's all our interpretation, our story about it. And we have that opportunity when we wake up to that it is a story. We have the opportunity to start to write our own story by choosing our interpretation, choose the way we interpret our circumstances, the things that happen. You can meet people and be afraid that they're going to be a bad person in your life, or you can meet people and go, wow, what's the gift I can get here? Totally different experience of life, same person shows up in front of you. But you'll find that even though it doesn't depend on the circumstances, your circumstances start shifting when you start shifting. So that instead of meeting people that are bad for you in your life, you start meeting people that are good for you because you're looking for it, and you'll recognize it when it's there, and you'll let the others go by. But we don't let those go by. We just grab hold of them and we say, oh my gosh, look, see, I told you the world was bad and people are bad and they're out to get me. You did a brilliant job of recreating the first couple of sessions. And I love that you reminded everybody that, life doesn't happen to us, it happens for us. It does, if we interpret it that way.
Yes.
If we don't interpret it that way, you're right. Whatever you're thinking, you're right. So if you think it's a horrible world with horrible people, you're right. But
Let
if you
me ask
think
you a
it's a
question,
beautiful
Means.
world,
What do
yes.
you feel about people who cling to things? Like they want things to be a certain way, and then when it doesn't
Me?
happen their way,
Me? Are you
all of
talking
us,
about
but
me?
that's besides the point. How would you share with people? Because it's really the resisting or the clinging that it's not going the way we want. We want it to go, with that
Well, here's
two-year-old.
the image I use. Okay, so
Yes.
usually I can think of, things aren't going the way I want, so I'm going to tighten my hold on it, right? I'm going to tighten my control on it. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to force it to. I'm going to manipulate it. I'm going to right. But it's a tightening. And if you picture life as a flow through a hose, if you tighten, you're reducing the flow. When you release, when you let go and let it flow, then you get the bigger flow. The other piece that I have is just a matter of trust. I trust that exactly what is in front of me is exactly what I need to be working on, even though it's not what I set down on my plan. But this is exactly the perfect thing for me to be working on, for me to be able to fulfill on the vision I have in the world. See, I have a vision. I have a vision of the world at peace, people empowered and enabled to fulfill dreams. I have a vision of awakening the God within, with everybody. That's my vision. Now, that vision is not ready to be fulfilled because there's still work to be done. But the work I'm doing is fulfilling on that. Rather than saying, oh, this work in front of me is distracting me or deflecting me from it, I say it is, and again, it's my interpretation. I get to interpret everything that comes in. If I say it's great and happy and wonderful, it occurs over here like great and happy and wonderful. If I say it's horrible and I'm tired and it's exhausting, guess what? It's tired and I am tired and exhausted.
Exactly.
I had a perfect example of that. I used to manage courses that were like 3 days, and they were just very intensive. And they went from 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock I was going from 6 o'clock in the morning until 2 o'clock at night. And it's just like, oh, just very intense. And I was just like very trained. I even put it in my calendar for Monday mornings were recuperation, until I realized that I was creating for myself that I was going to need to recuperate on Monday mornings, that I had it, that it was going to be exhausting. And so I said, okay, so let's try something different, right? Because this recuperation part is just like dragging on and on and on and on. I'm about to make it, a full day or 2 days, or I need to take a whole week to recuperate from this, right? I was like, okay, so let's try and have it be energizing. And it was so funny because all I did is say, it's energizing, it's energizing. And every time when I normally would say, whew, I'm tired, I would say, wow, I'm energized. Now, my body would say, excuse me, okay? Or my mind would go, that doesn't sound right, okay? But it became the truth.
Yeah.
To where I was waking up before the alarm on Monday morning because I was so energized.
And that's where the trust comes in that you said, because I remember different times you telling me that and thinking, well, but this is the way I feel, and I'm not feeling that other way. But then I just had to trust that if I just started sharing a different story with myself and
Yes.
saying something differently, and there was no truth in the old thought, it started to happen. So it
Yes.
really is, trust is a big piece of it for sure.
Absolutely. And the main thing is what you trust, an outer source, right? You trust God, source, universe, however you relate, right? But the big piece is trusting yourself, that
Yes.
you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, that this is it, that this really is, it can be. If you trust that it can be what you envision and act there, you'll start to bring it into reality. If you don't trust yourself, you're going to constantly second guess yourself, and universe always says yes, right? So you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do it. So universe says yes, you can't do it. You're right.
Yeah.
And then we got to have more proof. And then when you built all that proof up, you say, okay, so now I need to protect myself against all this stuff. So we put another layer between us and the light, and us and other people, and us and having what we want, until we are literally, truly trapped by our protections. And then one day, there's this little light that comes on inside that says, hey, I don't like this. I don't like being trapped. So we start to peel off the layers. We peel off those protections, going, wow, that protection was to protect me from, falling off the diaper table. Okay, I no longer have to worry about that. Okay, I'm adult. I don't need to worry about falling off the diaper table. I'm good. Okay, so we can peel that one away. Right? Then we peel the next one away, which is, oh my gosh, that one is don't touch the stove because it'll burn you. Okay, I'm an adult. I'm pretty clear. I understand that one. That's good. I'm not likely to be putting my hand on the stove. So we can let that protective go. And we just layer by layer by layer, year by year by year, we let go of those until there's nothing between us, our light, and the light that without, and it becomes one. So that we get to being one with light. And all we've been doing is pretending that there was something in the way, that we're pretending that we had to protect ourselves, pretending. Now, that doesn't say we don't protect ourselves as adults. I have my protection still up. I'm not fully light because guess what? You see, I still got body. I'm not little particles just going everywhere. I have the protections, and those will be ones that either serve me or they don't. And that's the question. Does this serve me? Does this serve in fulfilling on my vision? If it does serve in fulfilling on my vision, I'll take the action. If it doesn't serve on fulfilling my vision, then I will look again at that action and say, is it in alignment, or is it deflective, or is it learning something new, or like what is that action? What does it give me? What does it serve? So that there's no knots, there's no like negatives. It's just, how does this serve? What does this serve? Because even our disempowering thoughts serve us. It serves us in being small and being, protected, and not, and not doing, not. It serves the knots. It serves. Because we have to go through all of these things to have all of the experiences that we have, so that I can bring all of those experiences to the table now and say, wow, what will make a difference?
Right. And to see the contrast, right, of what we don't want, so when we know
Yes.
what we do want.
Yes, absolutely.
So if there's
There you
one
go.
thing that we could focus on this week, means, what would you say it would be? If there's one thing that we could kind of keep in our mind, as you were talking there, I kept thinking, open the blinds, take the layers off.
And what I'm thinking is actually the name of the whole series, right? The magic happens. Watch
Okay.
for the magic. Like everything that's happening, consider, how could that be magic? How could that be the magic showing up for me? How
Yes.
can this be the magic? This is the magic moment. And the song starts playing in your head. No, okay, I'm back.
But it's true, because it's all happening for us.
Yeah. So that if we consider in this, so in this moment, how can this be magic? How is this the magic? What do I want to add to have this really be magic? Instead of like, oh my gosh, I got to go do all this work so that I can get to, I can climb the mountain, I can get to the other side of the mountain. And then once I'm on the other side of the mountain, then I can finally get started.
How did that sound to everyone? Exhausting, right?
Yes, exactly. Just take straightforward action for what you want. And that
Exactly.
would be it. Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Means. Thank you, anyone
welcome.
who's listening live or listening after the fact. Happy you could join us, and hope that anything that we may share could help lighten and brighten your week.
Lighten and brighten. I like that. Okay, good.
Have a great day.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.